Hello, human peoples. You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. To support us and gain access to great exclusive podcasts like Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and our latest show, Spiel Boys, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We do game streaming, movie nights with our patrons every Friday night, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want. Literally anything, within reason, and we have to do it. You are quite frankly out of excuses not to go visit patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hypecast mit Tom Reimann und David Bell.
Hello, everyone.
Hello!
We're on an episode of Hypecast!
Hype.
It's the show where we get hype about stuff and things.
Hype.
I'm your co-host, Tom Ryman.
I'm your other co-host, David Bell.
And I'm Hana Michels. Was I supposed to jump in here? I don't know, but I'm doing it.
Yeah!
You did correct.
It's impossible to do it wrong.
Yeah,
Nice.
There's no wrong answers.
There's no wrong way to do it.
We leave our guests to twist in the wind, so it's kind of like, you know, it's like Battle Royale rules where it's like, we've abandoned you. You should do whatever you want.
But also you have a secret favorite child for some reason. Yeah.
Exactly.
I get it.
The guests are
Royale.
all our children, yes. Hana, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
How are
Thank
you?
you for having me. I'm doing well, better than I was this morning when we talked in the same house, and we still are in the same house.
This is true.
Yeah.
Were
Good.
you perhaps a little hungover this morning?
No, I only had one beer. I was...
Okay.
Yeah, no, I know that I'm a huge lightweight. I'm not that much of one.
Okay.
I'm naturally
curious.
unstable as a walker.
So is this off mic or was different show you
I'm
guys are
sorry.
recording?
We went to dinner last night. I had a single beer, and I was already falling on him.
They were floppy, yeah.
Yeah, but that's normal. That's what happens when I walk anywhere.
Right. That's fair. How's everybody else? What's going on?
Man, I
What's
feel
new?
I feel like my center of gravity's slipping the older I get.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, at a certain point, when you get to a certain age, you're like, who gives a fuck, man? I'm going to flop around. I'm just going to run into
I
kids.
feel vaguely like Popeye walking around.
Yeah. Yeah, because also, like, the older you get, the more like, well...
Yeah, not
It's
just
like a bell curve, right? Where it's
Right.
like you get to a certain age where there's the leeway. Like when you're 90, you could probably shove over a teenager and no one's going to get mad at you. But
Right.
if you're 40, people get mad at you for that,
Yeah,
right?
I think so. Yeah, unless you look like Popeye, which is they can't tell how old you are.
Right.
Yeah, and you might have some sort of forearm growth disorder.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Something.
It's
That
called
spinach is doing something.
spinach. All right.
Hana, thank you so much for joining us. Do you have anything you want to plug? Any stuff or things or like where people can find you, etc.? You know how plugs work, right?
Yeah, I think I'm just going to plug my socials, which are spelled like my name. It's HANAMICHELS. And if you want to see all of the cats owned by the people who run this podcast network, it's gamefully_cats.
Yeah.
I also run that because it insisted on being tied to my Facebook, and therefore I can't just have Tom and Marina also log in and upload Sweet Pea. It's very annoying for everyone.
What's the system? What's the Sweet Pea pipeline?
I have to bother them.
I think
Okay.
we
It's
just
through
randomly
text.
text Hana pictures
Yeah.
of the cat.
So like
Yeah.
put it up.
Here it is.
And then I put them up
Here's this.
Thank you for doing that.
This
because-
freaking dope.
because
Here
of
it is.
Yeah.
Meta. Yeah.
There's this little piece of shit.
Yeah.
It's going to help us
Delightful
all in
piece
the
of shit.
metaverse. The seamless way you're
Yes.
able to share photos with your friends and loved ones.
Yeah. Yeah. The way that two people can't own the same account. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's a real
great.
pain.
It is. But, you know, Zuckerberg has to be sure he's getting accurate information that he's stealing. So
Right, that's very important to have.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you for running that account because Yeah, someone has to do it,
Yeah.
right?
So
They need to see these cats.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
deserve
and I
to
have
see
a
these
pathological need to share these cats. So,
Right.
yeah, it's gotta. Yeah, no, there was no question I was doing that.
Yeah.
We're fans of pathology here at GU. Should we name some producers?
Yeah, fuck it. Let's name some producers. Weird way to open naming producers. We never do this, but we should do it this time.
No, we should try it out and see how it works.
All right. Big old thank you to @NerdNumbers.
Thank you.
you very much. Thank you to Zero Charisma.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to A Bag Full of Bags.
Thank you.
Thank you to Aaron Burser.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to AJ.
Thank you.
Thank you to Andrew. Hana deserves more hype. McGuire and Hal.
Thank you.
Thank you to Andrew Howe presents David Lynch's The Pop Tart Movie.
Now
I'd
we're
watch
talking. Mm-hmm.
it. Thank you to Asking Seven.
Thank you. I like the frosting. Let me swoop in here. Thank you to Bob Grenville.
Thank you.
Thank you to Bootler Butlison.
Thank
Thank
you.
you to Brian, who Tom knows.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you to Brockway loves the Meat Millie.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you to Burrito wants you to drink water, hit the gym, and do the ska, because they loves y'all.
Pick it up.
Pick it up.
Pick it up.
Thank you to Chester's Prophet.
Thank you.
Thank you to Christopher Robert Sparts, Esquire.
Hey, thanks.
And thank you to Dan Hackroyd.
Thank you. Is that it?
Yeah, it's like a
Should we talk
machete
about
robot.
movies?
Your producers are some funny people. I'm liking the names.
Yeah, they're good. They're good people. I like them.
Bunch of swell folks.
Yeah. Should we talk about this fucking Joker sequel?
Yeah, sure, let's do it.
Yeah,
Joker fuckadoo or whatever it's called.
Fuckadoo. Joker fuckadoo.
yeah.
This is one where it's got like 16 million
16
views.
million views, yeah.
And so it's
Yeah.
like we have to cover it.
Which is a lot, but like it's not. It's like number 4, I think, right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's still a lot of
Hana,
views.
did you see Joker, Hana?
I actually didn't.
Do you want to?
I feel like I got the gist
Okay.
just from the people in my life and in comedy.
I only saw it the one time. So like if people want to know, like Tom, have you seen it since?
I have seen it twice because we covered it on Tom and Jeff Watch Batman.
Oh fuck. Did it get any better the second time?
No.
My having now spent some time away from it, my overall view is that it seems like it's Taxi Driver, a king of comedy, made by someone who doesn't quite understand those movies. It felt like.
Yeah.
I remember that. It's kind of like that kid in high school who's like, I'm so twisted, but they're actually kind of just a bully.
Well,
like it gave me those vibes.
It's just
From what I remember.
It's really confusing to me because it doesn't actually have anything to do with Joker the character. It seems like he just selected that to give this movie a built-in audience and then just copied a Martin Scorsese film. That's all he did.
I heard
So this is
Scorsese
like-
produced it.
Confounding to me.
Yeah, did Scorsese actually produce Joker?
I don't know. I actually don't know.
Okay, because it seems like it was like this idea of like kids won't watch these movies anymore. Let's slap
Just put the Joker on it.
on it.
Sure.
Yeah. It looks like he was involved. I mean, that's why obviously. Oh wait, no, never mind. This article is about how he hasn't seen Joker, so no. Oh, it looks like he was offered producing it. I don't know. But like De Niro's in it. It's stunt casting.
Yeah.
Overall, it's like the online fan reaction is what really. Like it really I feel like this would have been a fairly mid film, that people would kind of go out of being like, yeah, it was fine, but like the online fan reaction has kind of repelled me more. You know what I mean? Like, have you seen? Not that Twitter matters, but have you seen some of the blue check mark reaction to this trailer?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, it's all the same, like swooning over the Daenerys shot with the dragon wings behind her. It's all that.
So, Hana, that last shot in this where it's like the lipstick and he moves over it, there's already people like sharing it going like, how do you come up with a shot like this? And like a lot of people have very like answered like, that was like the poster for the Dark Knight Joker. Like, you
Yeah,
come up with it.
That
yeah.
seems like it was a comic book panel at some point too. Like that is a cool visual that's not hard to come up with though.
Right. The answer is you come up with it easily. You
Yeah.
easily come up
You
with
work
it.
on a Joker project and it comes to you because that is one of the visuals that's readily available.
I've also seen people talk about like, wow, look how amazing this must have taken all day to shoot kind of things. It's like it's a rack focus. They do
Yeah.
it all the time in films.
They
Yeah,
also all
sorry.
take all day to shoot. That's what
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what shooting schedules are. They're not
Honestly,
nice.
It might have been helped along with CG. Like, we don't even know how the shot was accomplished. It's not that amazing. Like, we lined up this thing in the foreground with this thing in the background. It's like, yeah, they do it a lot. It happens a lot, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know, man.
So this is Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn. It's a jukebox musical, which they are not revealing in this trailer, but it's pretty
What
well
does
Why
that
done.
are
mean?
they not telling us when something's a musical? Why are they
You know
hiding
why.
this from us?
You know why?
Men?
I'm
guessing
yeah,
men.
well,
I'm guessing
yeah,
straight
that
men.
I would for this for sure. But like,
And their stereotypes about what a musical is.
I think so. It's
But
there's,
also
like,
everyone's stereotype about what certain kinds of musicals are.
right. It's just there's always like South Park hit it was a musical. Sweeney Todd in a lot of the previews hid that it was a
Yeah.
musical.
Yes,
Weirdly,
I remember that.
it's
But
they just
lately it's what?
they just tend to
there's a few
do that
movies.
in trailers. Yeah, I don't know why. Well, I do know why, because they traditionally don't perform as well. So they're like, or at least that was true like 30 years ago, right? So it's
Yeah,
one
I
of
was
those
gonna
like
say.
things that are true that they just
Yeah.
keep believing. Like,
It's
I was
funny
going to
because
say, we see foreign musicals doing very well.
yeah,
And they're
Right.
marketed as such, and they don't have the same stupid connotations that I don't think we have anymore. So,
no. Look at RRR.
really moved
RRR's
on.
like, fuck you, we're a
Yeah.
musical.
yeah.
it's just one of those antiquated thing, like they were hemming and hawing over putting out Black Panther in 2018 because they're like, well, we can't sell an international movie with a black lead. It's like,
Yeah,
you can't?
it's like,
Like,
What is
Yeah.
this, the fucking 30s?
Are you
What's
the same
going
people
on?
who've been telling us we're racist for
Yeah.
decades and decades and decades? I think you're just covering up your own shit.
Yeah.
so anyway,
it's
that's all to say
wild
that they're
because-
concealing this is a jukebox musical.
Which is wild to me because honestly, that's the most appealing thing about it.
That's the first thing that I've heard that actually makes me a little interested in it. But like, this trailer also reminded me what it was like to watch the first movie, which was just a deeply unpleasant experience.
Yeah, and I'm glad Gaga's in her wheelhouse of musicals because that does seem like something she's more equipped to do than, I don't know. I'm not the
Than
biggest
Machete
fan of her as
Kills.
an actor. Yeah, but I think,
that's what she was
obviously she's extremely musically talented, and obviously
yeah.
she has some acting skill. This seems like a good bridge. But
Oh, absolutely.
The project
This is a
itself,
good role for her.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean the trailer also annoyed me because like the big thing that came out of the Joker was the dancing scenes, right? And like there's always these gifs of him dancing and stuff. And this trailer was all like, look, he's dancing. Now they're dancing together.
Yeah.
And it's like the same dance. Like
yeah,
it
let's
looks
pick
very
up the
much
meme because
Yes.
we don't understand it.
it's like the same stairway dance it feels like in this. The fact that it's a musical like justifies that to me. Like I'd be less annoyed because it's like they're dancing because it's a musical. You dance in a musical, that
Yeah.
makes sense. So like I don't know, that's just such a loudly different thing. Like one of the things that annoyed me from this trailer was that it looked like, yep, that's like the Joker again, you're just doing it again. Like it looks like the exact same fucking movie to me, where it's like, yep, there he is running down the street like you did in the, like it's like similar shots, like, oh, another like riot scene. Here he is on another like another Tonight Show set. Like it's like it looks exactly the same to me. Here he is laugh crying or whatever. And I know that's like this, like it, and so like the fact that it's a musical makes it extremely different than the first one.
Yeah.
And I wish that was something that we wanted, or that studios realized we wanted. Like the fact that it's different is good. The fact that it's a musical is cool. I like that. That's great. But they seem ashamed of it. They seem ashamed of the one thing that makes
That
it different.
makes it unique. Yeah.
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 Because otherwise it feels like they're just trying to be like, look, see, it's the Joker again. You love the Joker. I don't know. I'm not. Tom,
I
are
feel
we gonna
like-
have to watch it?
I don't know. Maybe Jeff and I will.
Yeah, you guys will.
I feel like I'm so sorry for bringing my cynicism into what is your well-built and studied cynicism. You have a reason for yours, and I feel like mine is just built out of spite.
Your new cynicism, we're old cynicism. Like we're like.
Well,
Like-
I mean, you worked hard to cultivate it, and you tried
Thank
not to
you.
have it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, our cynicism is like it's like worn and refined. You know, like an old jacket.
Aged.
Yeah.
Like an old jacket I forgot I had.
We're
Yeah,
not,
exactly.
We're not far apart in age, but you've been doing this a while.
Ticket
I'm
stub for
not-
the Matrix in my pocket.
My feelings here personally is like, if we weren't doing this show and other shows, I'd be happy to just let this pass me by. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like, I'm ultimately like, I just looked at this trailer and went like, and that was that, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
We have to talk about it. I don't know. I don't know how many other trailers we'll put on here for this movie. Like, how many times can we say the same thing about it? You know,
Right.
Unless there's a trailer that actually shows the music, I'd say, because then we could at least comment on that.
Yeah. It seems like that's going to be what's different.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry.
Maxxxine.
No, you're fine. Man, okay,
How
so-
do you say 3 X's? Like Max. That's like 3 S's.
You try to use very sexily.
And
once you get into 3 X's,
Maxxxine.
that's
All
sex territory, pal.
I think I nailed it.
You did.
You did.
Who's seen Pearl?
I have.
Everyone's telling me I would love it, so I have to.
It's very good. It's also very different from X. If people don't know, Maxxxine is the third movie in the X trilogy, which is X and then Pearl and then Maxxxine. Yeah, I felt the same way. Like Dave wrote down in the notes, like X was a good slasher, but it was just kind of like a pretty basic slasher. It was cool that it was an old lady murdering people because she was horny, but like.
Honey, you saw X, right? I think we saw.
Yeah, we
we saw
watched
it
it.
together.
We watched it all
Yeah.
together. Yeah. But like Pearl is a totally different movie. It's
a
just
prequel,
this,
right?
Yeah, it's a character study about the old lady. It's just about her as a young woman back in the 20s, and it's just this pitch dark character study following her character, and it quite an ending. And this movie looks cool as shit. And it also looks
This is-
completely different from X.
Is this
And
the
it looks
same
totally different
character?
from Pearl. I think
Is
it's
this
I think it's the same character from X, but I'm not positive.
Okay. Yeah. No, you sort of said my thoughts on it, which is like X was good. I really like Ty West. He directed House of the Devil and The Innkeepers, which I love both of those movies. Did he do The Sacrament?
He did The Sacrament too. Yeah, the
I
Jonestown
really like
movie.
I really like Ty West's films, and X was good, but it was like watching it, I was like, cool film, can't wait to see what else he's gonna make, and then he stopped there and was like, well, let's make some more of these, and my view was like, really, more of these? Like, I kind of want to see you make something new, like. All right, I guess this is your thing that you're into. And then he made Pearl, and now this, and it's like, all right, I guess we're stuck on this. But yeah, I haven't seen Pearl yet, and I think we're gonna have to sit down and watch.
You gotta watch
Pearl.
Pearl.
We will.
That'll tip your opinion, I think.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this trailer I was already skewed on. I want to see this. Whether or not it's good or bad, I can't tell. But I'm interested enough.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a grimy 70s serial killer thriller.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a noir,
Like a Dirty
Hollywood.
Harry sequel almost.
Yeah.
Totally
Focusing on
different
serial
from the other
killers,
movies. Yeah.
It's a good idea for this character. So the idea is this character, she went to Hollywood to become an actress. That's and so X is when she's old and back home. Is that the idea?
Sort of.
And she's
You
just
gotta-
so horny that she murders. Okay, well, I'll
I
watch
can't
it. I'll
tell
watch
you
it.
that you gotta watch
Jesus
Pearl.
Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll watch Pearl. Hana, how'd you like X? I mean, I remember seeing it with you.
Do you remember that rant about how old ladies aren't scary? You're just like, I'm so sick of
I
that
don't
being the
remember
villain
that.
and everything. Just old ladies in and of themselves are not scary and terrifying just because they're old and their boobs are droopy. It's fine.
That is a trope that's been around for a very long time. All the way back to Kubrick. Like it's interesting how that was a horror trope.
At the same time,
and not
that
just
film,
old women
I
too,
enjoyed
like old
it,
people.
and she had agency, so it wasn't like a symptom of the problem as much. It wasn't. It was more interesting than that for sure.
Right.
It was a fun little twist, but it wasn't the end all be all of like that's what the scary thing is.
Right. Yeah, that checks out. It's also offensive to alligators.
Well, is it offensive
Alligators.
or does it celebrate alligators?
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Does it celebrate and reward our good scaly boys?
Yeah.
Pearl makes X better, actually. Even though it's a completely different movie and it's its own thing, it does, like, it puts context on some scenes and characters in X where you're like, oh, okay, that makes this
sense.
scene a little worse,
Yeah.
or a little like it makes it hit, in the ways that a prequel is supposed to.
That's cool. Yeah,
And you could already feel that, like, this wasn't just an old lady. This was like a society laden. Like this was a character riddled with an entire lifetime that we can kind of hint at, but we don't fully know.
Yeah. You walked right into a lot of the X is about that, where they just sort of disregard them because they're old. But it's like you have walked into a person's, a stranger's entire life, and you don't know anything about them. And then so when you watch Pearl, you're like, they really walked into something. They didn't know what they were walking into.
That's pretty great.
yeah,
I mean, I'm into it. I need to catch up. I definitely need to catch up with
Me
this
too.
because
I do.
Ty West.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I just can't stress enough how much I love Ty West.
He's a pretty good
His
director.
work is a delight. Yeah.
I also wanted to call out Kevin Bacon as the PI in this movie.
Yes.
Perfect 70s scumbag. Although I think this takes place in the 80s, but
I
Yeah.
mean,
close enough.
It is amazing scumbag energy. Like real fun stuff.
yeah. It must be the late 80s, or they're just fudging it, because the Night Stalker, I think, was...
Yeah, I think they said 85. Oh, wait, yeah, when was the Night Stalker?
I think started mid-80s, ended in the 90s.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's a little late for serial killing. A little retro of him.
It's because he had a quote-unquote disorganized but also organized killing pattern. I don't know. The FBI fucked up on their profile.
Does
on
that
him.
mean like?
Okay,
you
he
mean
was-
like he was bad at killing? Like the idea where he'd like wake up and be like, "Fuck, I forgot to kill somebody," and like he had to like go quickly kill somebody, like that.
Yes
idea?
and no, and they couldn't reconcile that. They couldn't reconcile
amazing.
that he was some part pre-planned and some part winging it.
So he was like a bad serial killer. He was bad at it.
Yes, he was bad
That's
at
amazing.
it. Yes, and that made them worse at catching him.
Made
The
him harder
community
to catch,
ultimately
yeah.
caught him. Yeah.
Right, where they're like he leaves the crime scene. He's like, "Fuck, I forgot to leave a riddle. I was gonna leave
Yeah.
a riddle."
Yeah, I was going to
Yeah.
puzzle.
The
They-
city
they
of
actually-
LA caught him. The LAPD did jack shit.
Yeah.
I will stand on that.
They caught him in 85, so they caught him the year this movie takes
okay.
place.
Okay, why am I thinking 90s?
You might be
What's
thinking
wrong?
of BTK.
No, that wasn't down here. I was thinking of someone local. Okay, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Right.
I
The
need to
Hillside
close the
Strangler?
vault. That is potentially, but I think he was more central. I need to close the vault that is true crime in my brain
Your
and
mind
move on.
palace full of
Yes.
creeps.
Your Hannibal Lecter mind
My
balance.
mind is full of creeps, yes.
I want to talk about this next one because Tom, this didn't even click until you pointed out in the notes. Because this is wild to me now that I realize.
Yeah.
Speak No Evil with James McAvoy. This is a remake of such a fresh movie that it's on my like, oh, I got to get around to that new. Like in my head, this is a remake of a 2022 film that's on my like Amazon watch list that I believe we talked about on this show.
Yeah.
That I was like, oh, I need to watch that.
And it's in English. Like I
Yeah.
don't understand. Like
Yeah,
at
but
the very
Tom,
least,
they're
like
Dutch.
if you're
They're
gonna
Dutch, Tom.
remake like at the very least I understood like remakes which were just like, well, it's a recent movie but it's in a different language, so they're remaking it for like mainstream American audiences or whatever. But this one is like baffling to me.
They're Dutch, Tom. They're Dutch.
It's
They're
also
Dutch
very
English.
close. Like most of the
It
scenes
looks like
I
the
recognized,
exact same thing.
And they spoil the fucking movie in this trailer.
Yeah. I mean, it looks good. It makes me want to go see the 2022 one.
You should. It's a movie I can never watch again.
Ooh.
It's one of those horror movies.
Yeah.
Fun.
But it
It seemed very family
quite
heavy.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite
it probably
good.
hit a lot of people pretty hard, but
Yeah.
I'm down.
I like watching James McAvoy freak out to Cotton Eye Joe.
Yeah.
There's just something very funny about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
that
and
choice.
we've all seen that kind of little league dad and been like, how far is this guy gonna go? Should I be scared?
Yeah.
It's
Like-
This is.
the basic
That parent.
the fucking bat dad at Little League.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The basic gist of this movie is it's two families, they meet on vacation and one family invites the other to visit them at their house. So they go out there and stay. It's a husband and wife and their daughter that go out to visit this couple that they met and their young son. And it plays a lot with the social contract idea of where like things are off from the start a little bit, and then they
Right.
just start to get more and more off. And it's about like how much will these people sort of put up with and ignore.
It sounds like the. What is that movie, Nocturnal Animals? It sounds like the kidnapping scene, Nocturnal
Very close to the
Animals.
kidnapping scene in Nocturnal Animals.
Yeah, just stretched out even more, where things it gets so.
It's
that
a
scene is
slowly
fucking nightmare.
tightening like noose.
Yeah. This remake is from the director of the Woman in Black remake, which I think is a legit movie. With Harry Potter versus
It's
Ghost.
okay. Yeah, it was
I
alright.
I watched it recently. I still like it. But that's all to say that this feels like a waste of that director, because I'm like, I'm just gonna. I don't. Now that I realize it's from the 2022 movie, I'm just gonna go back and watch that instead. And I don't want you to say it. What's been spoiled, because it didn't feel spoiled to me watching this trailer, but having watched the movie, would know.
Yeah.
Like the kid not talking, I kind of understood why he wasn't talking at the early part of the trailer.
That is a reveal that comes very late.
Because
it's the whole point of the movie is a cat and mouse game. Are these people really in danger, or are the people they're staying with just weird freaks?
Okay, yeah.
So showing why the kid doesn't talk in the trailer kind of ruins that.
Right, yeah,
So-
yeah. That's a shame.
Yeah.
He even shows you.
That's what I mean is like
That's-
it
generally
didn't feel,
things are more obvious when they're remade for Americans.
yeah. Does he not do that in the
No.
Okay, because that was the thing where in the earlier shot I was like, oh, and then they show that and I was like, yeah, I got it, movie.
They don't.
I got it before.
They don't show that because it becomes devastatingly obvious.
Fun movie.
Yeah,
All right,
it's
we'll watch it.
a fucked up movie. Casting
We're gonna
James
watch.
McAvoy in that role is cool. That's a cool idea.
I mean, he's very good at it.
Yeah,
we,
and I
we
like,
remember Split.
Oh gosh, Mackenzie Davis, is that her name from *Halt and Catch Fire* and *The Terminator*?
Is that who the other one is?
Yeah, the mom.
Okay.
I like her.
I didn't recognize any of these honkies, but
She's doing a voice. She's doing like a British voice.
gross.
But
Yeah, it's weird.
I really don't know why you'd remake this.
No, this seems completely pointless.
It's
Realizing
a really
that it's a
strange
remake.
pick for a remake.
It's a remake of an English movie from 2 years ago.
Yeah, an English
that's
language
just-
film that's like
It's just like,
not
what
that
the
old.
fuck, guys? Yeah, like this was just like it's gonna be like next to the original in like new releases. It feels like
Yeah.
like what the hell's going on? This
Yeah,
is
you
weird.
guys should watch this movie. Get together and watch this movie, and
Yeah,
and
we're
then,
gonna
and
get
then let me
together.
know how.
We're gonna watch
Text
this.
me
We're
when
gonna
you
watch
finished.
Pearl,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and we'll watch Joker. Triple feature.
I
Should we
think you
talk
might
about
just
this?
give up after that. After all,
Yeah.
all those movies back to back to back.
Just done with
You might
movies.
just be like, I'm just done. Let's move on.
Fly Me to the Moon. This is Taters and
The Channing Tates,
who else?
the Tater Chans, Scarlett Johansson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is a God. I hope it's just a movie. Is it? Is it a
It's an
series?
Apple TV Plus project. I think it's a film.
Hold on, I'm looking.
It is genuinely hard to tell sometimes.
It is. It's edited like a film trailer.
It is, yeah.
It looks like I think it's a movie. It's about the brave marketing team behind the moon landing. Did I get that right?
Mm-hmm. And yes, it is a film.
Okay. It Channing Tatum plays like not an astronaut. He's like a space nerd. Classic nerd Channing Tatum.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's a launch director or whatever. I don't know. Launch directors can look like fucking supermodels, I guess. But and then Scarlett Johansson he had a meet cute with turns out to be the marketing director to help sell the moon landing because people don't care about NASA anymore. Which was that true for the moon landing?
I don't know. I don't know if this is based on any fact other than
I
NASA
kind of hope-
exists.
Yeah, I kind of hope it isn't, just because if it's based on anything at all, conspiracy theorists are going to grab this and run with it.
Right, because she starts fake. I felt like we got the whole story. Because
Yeah,
then she does a fake moon landing to
Just in case, yeah.
just in case.
Yeah.
It's like so many hats on hats. It's weird.
Yeah,
it's
I got
a weird
that
premise.
And it's also, it's not interesting. It's very, like,
No, it's not.
inside business deals. I don't care.
Like, I don't care how you sold the space race to the American people because it seems like this isn't even true. So,
Yeah.
Right, because it's like I remember in Apollo 13 they like very specifically have this gag where they're like people don't care about the moon anymore because like the moon landing was a big deal.
Well, yeah.
But like the 13th mission, who cares? That I can believe. But this is like no one cares about landing on the moon, a thing we haven't done yet.
Yeah.
Like that just it.
Yeah.
I don't believe.
I
you.
mean, maybe
Like,
NASA was delusional. Maybe they were like, we already paid people to jerk off dolphins and they still don't care. So what are we going to do?
jerk off more dolphins on the moon.
Yeah,
clearly.
give the dolphins acid. That's what they did.
Yeah.
It's look it up. I'm not crazy. I'm not a conspiracy theorist who's going to take this movie and run with it.
Two things can be true.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. This just seems like
Actually, they
and,
didn't pay her, but she was technically on their payroll.
jerking off a dolphin is its own,
its own
reward.
yeah. Collect my payment in dolphin semen.
I am so sorry, everyone. I just got off of coaching, and
And you talk about jerking off dolphins
Jerking
a
all
off
lot.
the
dolphins
time.
is
All the time.
Integral part of the
as
process.
it is what life coaching is all about.
Is it just your metaphor here? Like,
Yeah, metaphor
trauma
for
is a lot
person.
like a dolphin.
Well, I'm not
you gotta
treating
work
trauma.
It out.
That's a therapist's job. But like anyone's
okay.
life goals, achieving their life goals,
It's like a
yes,
dolphin
dolphin
stick.
orgasm. Yes,
All right.
100%. That's exactly what it is.
It's like giving a
Yeah.
handy to a unicorn.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
kind of is. Same noises. I feel like
Yeah.
Dolphins
Do
and
unicorns come out of their
unicorns.
horns? Probably,
Yeah.
right? That's where I would.
That's
Good.
I feel like that's the case. But if we're talking about like whatever the prehistoric version of unicorns were, they were probably just like ancient European rhinos.
I really like the idea.
Yeah, I don't like
of,
that.
Yeah, I know it's boring.
I love the idea that like slowly over time the dick of a rhino became the horn of
The
a
horn
unicorn
of a unicorn?
Yeah.
through like storytelling changes. That's what I
Yeah.
want.
No, I mean that's what humans are. The dicks of whales became all sorts of sea monsters.
That's true.
Yeah, because
Good
they're
on them.
weird.
Anyway,
Sorry.
Woody Harrelson's in this movie.
He
Speaking
sure
of the
is.
dick of
So's
whales.
Ray Romano.
Yeah. The part, all right, there's a part in this where they say we have to hire actors because Channing Tatum, you don't look good on camera. Did I catch that? Is that what that premise was? Where she's like, some of our guys aren't very camera ready. Channing Tatum, you have to get an actor. Like, I don't know. The whole thing just feels there's something wrong with this fucking trailer and this movie and this premise. where it just everything feels like weird and sweaty, and like I don't understand the point, and like I don't know. We've come a long way from Mad Men. It feels like. Remember when marketing and ad people were seen like cynically as like, you know, kind of fake people pushing fake ideas, and recently it really feels like now that like executives are in charge of movie making, there's a lot of movies that are like, what if we do a movie about how great executives are? Like that's the vibe I've been getting lately. It's like, what if rich executives were the hero of our story? Let's do a story about how we sold Nike Air Jordans. Let's do a story about how the moon landing, we had to like sell it. The power of selling things, of commercials. Let's do this. Like it's just funny because you know how like Hollywood loves making movies about how great movies are, right?
Yeah.
And like the reverence towards like the magic of movies. That's what feels like is happening. It's like executives making movies about the power of executives and ads.
Yes.
The
Do you
power of
remember?
marketing.
So I swear to God, there was a period in the 2010s when agents and managers had a lot more power than they do now, and there was a subplot in every movie for a while that was about a guy being crappy because his relationship with his father was crappy, and that's every producer I've ever met, and I felt wronged in some way.
I thought you were
That's how
going
this
into
movie
Jerry
is.
Maguire territory, but yeah.
I swear to God, there's a period in the 2010s where every single subplot, even of remakes, even of reboots, it was all about let's add a terrible relationship with a dad in here.
I mean, that checks out. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they go through these weird phases, and like now our
they
our
gave
weird
Willy Wonka
phases.
a dad.
Oh yeah,
That's
you're
what
right.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
2010s.
That was 2005, but close. It was close to the
Well,
2010s.
mid-2000s,
Yeah,
I
it's
guess.
around there, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I don't know about this.
I wish it seems like somebody imitating Steven Soderbergh, and I wish this movie, at least from what we've seen in the trailer, had more of a point of view, because it starts with like, let's tell the story about how we had to sell NASA. We had to sell the idea of NASA to the American people in order to even be able to do the moon landing. That could be an interesting movie, but then it goes off in this weird direction about like having to stage a fake backup moon landing, and
It's so- and
all
then
the
she's like,
hiring
we should have gotten
actors to speak in
Kubrick for
public
this.
for people. Yeah, it's like it starts adding on all these layers.
It's like Wag the Dog. It feels like Wag the Dog, but without any point. It feels like when Charlie and It's Always Sunny just stand up about like cats. You remember that? Where like, you know, like when someone does like trying to do a stand up that's relatable, but it's about something just so
it's their
completely
own
off
very
the grid.
specific
Yeah.
experience.
It's
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
where,
There's
like,
a community cutaway where Abed is doing stand up about their apartment, and Troy is laughing, and no one else
That's
gets it
perfect.
because it's
Yeah,
their
that's-
apartment. Yeah.
That's perfect. Yeah, 'cause it feels like that where they're trying to make Wag the Dog, and they're like, you know how like NASA faked the moon landing but didn't really, and hired actors, and it's like, what is this? What
Yeah,
are you even
the fuck
trying to
is this
say?
movie?
Yeah. I'm still trying to spread that they skimped someone on payment for jerking off a dolphin.
I know. You tell me this every day.
First
People
They
need
owe
to
that
know.
person.
first thing in the morning.
First
People
thing.
need, look, Carl Sagan might have died thinking his legacy was clean, but I'm here to destroy that.
Carl Sagan's dead?
Oh, is he dead? I thought he was. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah. No, he was involved in this project.
And the dolphin jerking off, or this movie? It Fly Me
Dolphin
to the Moon?
jerking off.
All right. Because I could believe either.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Acid was the clue.
Yeah, this this is also, we should note, this is like tongue in cheek. This movie is it's
Maybe
just,
that's why we feel like they don't have a point of view.
that's what it is like it's almost like nihilistically tongue in cheek. Like it'd be what if it and maybe it ultimately is this, if it's like trying to come down on ad people, like if it's actually a satire on the advertising, like
In its
Maybe-
heyday? Yeah.
that might be it. It's just it gives off the trailer of like maybe it's really weird, like maybe they just didn't know how to sell this movie, and that's why it's there's just something really weird about this trailer.
We generally don't know how to market satires. That has been historically true.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a set way to do it. I don't think we figured that out. It's hard to boiled down a very distinct type of humor into a trailer, so that could be it. But given how many films these days are kind of like Joss Whedon-y, tongue-in-cheek, like I'm going to wink at the camera and acknowledge that I'm in a movie but not really have a point of view, I'm not optimistic. I'm hopeful, but I'm not. I guess those are synonyms.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not going to watch this to find out. Should we talk about this next thing?
Yeah,
Let's do it. Sorry. Dolphin
Hey,
Trainer.
you're fine.
Family Pack. Family Pack.
Family Pack. This is a French movie about Jean Reno and his family finding a magic werewolf Jumanji game that transports them back to werewolf times.
I'm going to show you guys the IMDb. I'm putting it in our chat because, like, I feel like French people are weird. It's like, all right, so this is like Jumanji, right? Like, it feels like it's trying to be like kind of a zany family comedy, but it's really hard to find that within all of it. Like the IMDb, the poster, it looks like a Game of Thrones ass looking poster of like this weird. They're really obsessed with like the game piece, and then the synopsis is when night falls. And the players have their eyes closed. Werewolves make victims among the villagers. So it's werewolf.
It's
right?
werewolf,
It's werewolf. But I feel like they didn't have the rights to werewolf. I got that vibe. So they make it like this weird Jumanji board game that's like ancient that they get sucked into. And then like the trailer treats it like it's kind of creepy and a little serious. But then like by the end you're like, this is a zany family comedy, right? Like... Right? Like, is that is what it is, I think.
It's what it looks like, yeah.
It is
like,
what it looks like. I have never been able to tell when the French are being comedic, so I'm not a good judge.
I guess that's what my problem is, too. That's the problem I'm having, which is that, like, I'm so used to, like, bad, zany, like, American trailers, you know?
Yeah.
That,
we
like,
don't know when they're funny.
Yeah, this felt very serious at first. And so it was like a slow burn, me realizing like, oh, I think this is like a zany family comedy.
I'm sure a lot of stuff gets lost in translation, and comedy generally does not sell as well across languages. That's why we stopped making them, which sucks.
I still want to see whatever this is because I'm super fucking curious about whatever the hell this is. Like, it's
Jean Reno having a Jumanji adventure with his family.
It's such a weird premise for an adaptation of Werewolf, right? Mm-hmm. We just watched Werewolf Within, which, I mean, I half watched it. But, like, that one, it went with the paranoia, right? Because that's the game, is a bunch of people sitting around going, I think you're the werewolf. It seems like that's not what is happening here.
Yeah, this one looks like, we keep saying it, but it looks like Jumanji. Like, it doesn't look like they're sitting around trying to figure out who the werewolf is.
No.
It's really weird.
It looked to me like it was based on a book.
No, it's based on a board game. There's apparently a card game version of Werewolf.
Originally. That's what I thought. But then it seemed like I've never seen this game, and it doesn't look like the game that I know of to be Werewolf, so I guess that threw me off.
Yeah, it's just some older version of it called like the Werewolf of Miller's Hollow or something. It's like a 2001 version of the game.
Why are we doing this with games? What is it about IP that...
I think it's related to what you were talking about earlier, right? Where it's so hard to get stuff made right now because all the decisions are being made by... The majority of decisions are being made by executives who don't have a background in movies or understand or care for art. So something with a recognizable IP is more attractive than something that's just a new idea from, whoever.
Yeah. So we feel pandered to, and executives feel like they are pandering to us.
What's funny is I never would have thought this or like 20 years ago, but the broader the IP, I feel like the better chances it has. Meaning that, like...
Of being good?
Of being good because it gives you... Yeah. Like, for example, there's the Minecraft movie coming out. And I realized, like, that could be anything. and that's good, right? Like, you get to slap the word Minecraft on it, so dipshits like me are going to go see it.
Yeah,
And
as long
you
as
have an
that one
opportunity
guy
to-
isn't involved, you're good. And
Notch.
he's not
Yeah,
anymore.
Notch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he's out. Yeah,
he is.
Yeah, he's sitting on his pile of money, being terrible.
racist.
Yeah, but like, yeah, that's it. Like, just have a guy named Steve in it, I guess. Show me some fucking Endermen, some creepers. I'm good to go. Like, but like the plot can be fucking whatever you want, and so it just makes it like the Ouija movies, and like where it's like, I don't know.
I guess you're right. Yeah, if it is truly to sell to executives, then yeah, the looser the IP, the more you're gonna want to sell it. That makes sense.
Yeah, and then just like
When you're thinking about it through that lens, yeah.
you get to do whatever you want. Like
Yeah.
you can still make
You can
a
make
movie
the movie you
that's-
originally wanted to make in the first place.
You can take
Yes.
Jean Reno and his family and throw him right the fuck back in time.
Exactly. God damn, Jean Reno.
Get your French ass 400 years into the past.
I'm excited for this.
Yeah. It doesn't come
It's
out
gonna
till
be on
October.
Netflix.
It's like a long ways away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Family
all right.
Pack.
Family Pack. I get it.
It's just called werewolf in French.
Family
it's called
Pack.
loup-garou.
Oh, okay. Family Pack's better because, all right, pack of cards, like a game.
And
pack
wolf
of
pack.
werewolves.
Okay. Yeah.
And werewolf. Yeah. Wake Up is the next one. That's what it's called? Really?
Yep.
I could see how that also wouldn't be a pun in French.
Oh, yeah. I just realized how bad the name of this movie is. The
Yes,
next movie.
funny.
that's what I was gonna say. That is,
Okay.
and I think that lends itself to your point about how cynical the lens is.
I don't know. I keep forgetting
When
what
you
this
think of
movie is based on the
terrible
title.
protesters, you think of the phrase "wake up, sheeple."
Oh, yeah. That's what it's Sorry, that's what it's referring to. You're
Yeah.
right.
Think so.
Well, one of them holds a flag in it that says "Wake Up" when they're
Yeah.
making their video, when they're smashing up the Walmart.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So-
and the idea of eco-terrorists protesting for awareness to begin with is a lot of people have found silly.
Yeah, it's been a
Awareness
punchline in
is the
movies for
issue.
like 40 years. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not really, it's punching down. It's
Well,
not really a thing that exists.
Let's explain
right
what the
now.
premise is. So the
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
premise is
yeah.
a group of eco-terrorists with like paintball guns break into a mall, which we definitely still have those. And
It's a Walmart.
oh, it's a Walmart. Okay.
Yeah, like a big box superstore.
And they are messing up the place in the name of animal rights. And then a mall security guard just like snaps and starts murdering them like Jason Voorhees style. Or it appears that like they accidentally murder the first one, and then it's like no witnesses, which I think is a very fun idea
Yeah.
for a premise for a movie.
Yeah,
It's also the director of Turbo Kid,
and Summer of
Which-
'84.
which are good movies. I like those movies. That makes me feel a little bit better about this.
Yeah, I'll say about Summer of '84 the thing that I really liked about it was how it subverts itself at the end.
Right.
Because you really think the movie is going to go one way, like Goonies, Adventure Kids, and then the final act shows up,
Dark.
and you realize, oh no, it's for like 14-year-olds going up against an adult murderer. Like,
Right,
what do
yeah,
you
that's
think's
not
going to
fun.
happen? So like this movie,
They're not going to Home Alone him. Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
So like I'm thinking maybe there'll be some of that vibe with this, because like the
Where it seems like it's going one way.
right, yeah, because like for the first half
yeah.
of the trailer, I didn't know this was going to be a horror movie. I was, it
Right.
seems like it's a different movie because they're wearing these cool masks and they seem
Yeah.
kind of like it just had a different vibe at the beginning.
Well, at first they seem like they're the threat. They're like
Kind of.
the masks, like the animal masks, are very like, oh, this is like a lot of home
Yeah, it's a little,
horror.
you're next
Yeah.
to
But
you're the
that's-
strangers.
But of course, that's the bit in Your Next, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, they're the victims.
Yeah.
They're not. They're the prey. They're not the predator. And this, I'm mixed about it because like the thing that's putting me off is like if you watch this trailer in the YouTube comments, there's so many people like, I'm on the cop side. Yeah, go cop. And it's like I'm not sure that's the point of the movie, but it's just like watching a cop basically murder activists. and then there's a bunch of dipshits being like, yeah, awesome film. And it's like, in today's climate, I don't know, knowing that it's the Turbo Kid and Summer of '84 people makes me go like, it's probably made in good faith. It's not going to be, it's not Death Wish, you know, but like it. And I don't.
You can't
sell a film with a twist. You can't put that in. So there's only so much you can do on Hypecast.
Right. But yeah, I think it's probably going to be good. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, knowing who the director is now, I'm more down.
Yeah, for sure. I did feel a little bit of that when I first saw the trailer, where I was like, I feel like this movie could, like, is this going to be like a Craig Zoller joint where I'm going to like watch it and be like, wait, what the fuck does this guy try to tell me?
Right,
but,
where it's like using irony to sneak in some really shitty messages. Yeah.
So when I looked up the directors and saw it was Turbo Kid, Summer '84 people, I went on the same journey you guys both just did. Where it's like, oh, okay, this is probably done in good faith.
Probably, but like sadly, this trailer isn't being accepted in good faith. But yeah, I think
you can't control how people react to it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, YouTube comments are always going to be the worst of humanity. So.
Oh yeah, I think those.
You never know how quiet sane people are reacting to something.
Exactly, but I mean, yeah, it's weird because without the comments, it still pinged me, right? Where it's like the slashers are kind of. The thing about a slasher is that it's a really easy way to do wink wink stuff. And what I mean by that is like the dragged across concrete guy who is,
Craig
I
Zoller.
think, there's a very good case to be made that man is a white supremacist. And he was the writer on the Puppet Master one where the puppets are Nazis. And the puppets are technically the villains, right? But it is watching Nazis kill like a bunch of like minority characters, and so it's like, oh, but they're the bad guys, but also wink wink, don't we love it when Jason kills people? You know what I mean? So it's like the same deal with this, where it's
very
like,
easy to target a group of people in a slasher movie, and
so
you might not realize
like,
it at first, and then you're like, wait a minute, I feel like this guy's only stabbing Puerto Rican people. What's happening?
Exactly. And so this is the same, right? Where it's like, well, the night watchman's the bad guy, but wink, wink, watch this cop kill these activists. And so, like, it could have very easily been that. But I do want to restate, I don't think that's what this is going to end up being.
I didn't get that vibe from their other movies, so.
Yeah.
But then again, Zoller snuck up on me.
Those ideas a lot,
yeah.
So.
It took me like 2 movies to figure that out about Craig Zoller, so maybe I'm not the best judge.
Well,
it's hard.
I think that we used to take irony and good faith in the past a lot more than we do now for that reason.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I think that we're pinging this because we're seeing what is probably just irony and getting suspicious.
There's also a retro factor.
Oh, yeah.
Meaning that like Turbo Kid is specifically trying to be this retrofuturism. It has Michael Ironside in it. It's trying to invoke our like our feelings of like, oh yeah, remember like 80s and 90s retrofuturism. Summer of '84 is also doing that. And the thing about retro is retro films were always a little more conservative. And so like that comes with it. And fucking Dragged Across Concrete guy was also using that. A little bit.
Slasher movies are traditionally conservative.
Yeah. Cell Block we're all in Cell Block 99 is trying to be like John Carpenter, right? Like it's like gritty John Carpenter, which has always been like, yeah, a little conservative, a little libertarian. But then you think about it a little harder and you go like, wait, was Vince Vaughn's character a Nazi? I think he might have been a Nazi that we were rooting for. That's weird. That's real weird.
Anyway,
that's a bigger conversation.
This is Wake Up. This does have a cool retro vibe to it. It looks like it looks cool. It reminds me of something like Chopping Mall.
Yes. And yeah, for the record, a lot of this we're putting on the film. It doesn't deserve.
It does not actually in the trailer. We just,
My only actual real criticism of this is bad name. I really don't like the name of this. I keep forgetting what it is.
Yeah, it's not a great name.
Yeah. It's simply, and it's not like, it's really just because the name is so generic that I'm like, is this going to be like? What is this? Is this a comedy about a morning show? What is this? Oh, it's a mall slasher. All right. You know what doesn't have a bad name? Our next trailer.
I love this title. Very, very rarely do you get to see a title as pure and poetic as this.
Yeah, and
Kill.
the first, I would say, like, quarter of the film and the title of the film made me think that they were going to discover a bunch of Garfield phones, and I was so excited.
Wait, what?
Okay. I'm sorry, this is another obscure thing that I feel the
Fucking
need to
rabbit
tell
hole are you
everyone.
about to open up?
Sweet,
Okay.
let's do it.
I know about the phones washing up. I don't know why this made you think of that.
Because they washed up in the ocean right next to Paris, and they discovered them very
No,
late.
you're thinking of your wrong trailer. Wrong trailer.
Oh, the one right before it.
Oh,
We're at
I
Kill.
am sorry.
We're at the
I am
film
sorry.
Kill.
I am
Kill.
so sorry.
No,
That's
you're fine.
why.
Completely.
You're fine.
you
We can
completely
save
hurt my
that trailer
brain.
for the next. Save that
Okay.
thought for the next trailer.
Okay.
No, Kill. This is the raid,
Oh, yeah,
but
this
on a
one,
train.
I did not think of Garfield phones. Yeah.
Okay.
Man,
It
I
would've
was
been
so
weird.
excited to hear that story. I was like,
know, I was
how
like,
is
what is this
going to
journey?
connect?
This is out of India.
Yeah.
I
mean, you wrote the
it's-
raid on a train, and that's what it looks like.
that's what it is. I love that the advertisement is like it's going to be India's most violent, bloody film. Like that's what they're basically
Yeah,
riding
every
on.
pull quote is just about how crazy violent this movie apparently is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I love that they were like, what do we name this extremely violent movie? And they're like,
Fucking kill!
Yeah.
it's coming out in July, just in time for my birthday.
I'm so psyched.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing that we've kind of gotten super hyped about with films coming out of India is choreo. So I'm really excited for this.
A guy
Yeah.
gets pile drived into a toilet in this trailer.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
He absolutely does. That's the thing. It's got like a little tinge of Bollywood madness in it. Like you could
Right,
kind
it's
of
not-
get that where it's like he's not making a ball of humans and throwing it at a car, but like the gravity is a little different.
Right. It's not full like wire kung fu, but it's not full like raid kung fu either. There's a little bit of like heightenedness to it.
Yes. It's
I just said a guy gets fucking pile drived into a toilet.
yeah.
Not that you couldn't do that in real life, but I
I
imagine
also
it's rare.
love it takes a few tries. I just love that this year we're doing a lot of I mean and last year and the year before, but like it really is like the best time for action.
Yeah, John Wick really did us all a favor.
Yeah. And the raid. Which
And the
is like
raid, yeah, that's true, yeah.
Yeah.
And we sort of like
And those are both choreo heavy. Yeah.
Yeah.
oh yeah. And so like it's just great to see like everybody's pitching in now and it's like we have
Fucking
like
Bob Odenkirk got one.
yeah. And this year it's like, oh my god, I got to see Monkey Man and I got to see
hell yeah,
Kill
yeah.
and I got to see what's the Skarsgård one? Boy Kills
World.
World. And it's just like Jesus Christ, there's so fucking many. They're all bleeding together. And if you like these movies like I do, it's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah. It's the best problem.
Yeah, like
Our cup
if you
runneth
don't-
over.
Right.
As long as you're not my mother who saw everything everywhere and was like, this could have done without the fight scenes, you'll be happy.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is there are people who it's not their cup of tea, and it's probably a little annoying, right?
Sure.
They'll go into a movie theater and all the trailers are like the same premise
Yeah.
of
But I
like
would
here's
say,
a dude just killing people.
I would say a lot of those people, action films bored me for many decades.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
I'm excited again.
yeah, me too.
I thought that
And-
was something you grow out of. No, it's just action films were bad for a while.
Yeah, they ebb and flow.
It's
and
not something
love,
I grow out of, I can tell you that.
I love that. I think the raid technically started it, but John Wick is probably the thing that's put it on
I
the
think
map.
that's what really put it over, yeah. Because The Raid was
that-
still kind of a niche movie,
right.
as big as it
But
got.
It's a specific thing, which is the realization that got made famous by John Wick, which is we don't really need a big reason for one guy to kill a bunch of people. The realization of just like, 90s action was always like these elaborate plots or like
Yeah.
they killed his family. And John Wick was like, what if it's just like his dog?
Yeah,
and
and
they're
it
like, yeah,
inevitably made women props. Even nobody who had a family steered clear of that.
right. And so, like, I feel like they've slowly realized that of just get to the murder.
Yeah.
Like, just give them just baseline reason, and let's just get right into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we do all love puppies.
Oh yeah, but even like Fury Road.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, we just have to get to this place.
Yeah.
That's Fury Road. Let's get to this place, and then we have to go back.
Yeah.
And that's it.
We've
And
been
I just
seeing
love-
movies long enough. We don't need the pretense.
Yeah, exactly. We don't need a big elaborate plot.
Yeah, I have no idea why this person is on a train, why anybody's trying to kill them.
No.
I don't
hope
need
it
to know.
I hope it just begins with him like getting the wrong soda and being like, I want to speak to like the front of the train, and then we're like, sorry, sir. And he's like, all right, I guess I'm going to kill all of
Guess
you.
I'm going
And
to
then-
kill, and we're like, oh, he said it.
Yeah. All right. Main event.
Okay, here we go.
Garfield
Sorry.
phone the movie.
Garfield phones.
Under Paris. So
Excuse me, Dave, under Paris.
Paris. Under Paris. All right. Oh, damn it. Sorry, the poster gives it away. But I love how the name and most of this trailer, or at least the first part, you genuinely don't know what this is going to be, right?
That's why my
Could be
brain
anything.
immediately genuinely went to Garfield phones.
Explain Garfield phones.
Okay, so maybe 5 to 7 years ago,
I think it was more than that, but go on.
maybe, I don't know. Time is nothing to me anymore.
Yeah.
But they discovered a bunch of Garfield phones washed off a beach near Paris, in France. Just a cave full of 1980s Garfield phones, which I don't know if you've seen them. My friends Jeffrey and Amanda have one. If you pick it up from the receiver, its eyes open. So if you kind of jiggle it on the receiver, it looks like Garfield is coming. They're disturbing
yeah.
phones already.
Sweet.
They are disturbing phones. And then add the wear and tear of having washed up and being in a cave and destroying all wildlife for like several decades. It's haunting. It's a haunting
Yeah.
location. Garfield is already haunting to begin with. It's kind of a beautiful accidental art piece. I feel like that's the only way to make an art piece about like consumer culture is accidentally. Without it
Was
being like
happening-
pretentious and obnoxious. No,
So-
that
'Cause it
cave
felt-
of Garfield phones. We can stop now. It's done.
I just wanted to add it that because it's perfect because that probably fell off a cargo ship in like 1988.
Exactly.
It was happening for
was
30 years.
existing.
No, it
in
was
nature
happening
for 30
continuously.
years.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
happening continuously. Yeah,
I'm reading an article about it in Smithsonian.
that's where they were. That's where they were
For
shipping
30
them from.
years, it was just regularly washing up.
Oh, okay.
But I don't.
They didn't. They didn't know where they were washing up from for a long time, and then they found this like cache full of them.
It's amazing.
Somebody's stockpiling. Got my
I don't know if they had
Garphones.
previously washed up or if someone had stored them there. Either way, they were too decayed at that point to know.
Yeah, it was a metal shipping container stuffed with phones tucked inside a sea cave. So, like, it must have been some shipping accident, and then the thing got lodged in there, and then it was just slowly emitting
leaking
Garfield
Garfield phones.
phones over 30 years.
Yeah. It's the half-life of a
Amazing.
Garfield phone container.
Right. This has nothing to do with
Nothing
sharks.
to do
so
with this movie,
sorry.
but no, it's perfect.
This is it's a shark. It's under Paris.
It's a shark
and
movie.
I love that in the trailer they're like, there's this triathlon swim thing. We got to stop it before it kills the swimmers. And then just in the trailer it shows the swimmers getting killed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, how well did that go for you? Did you stop the shark? Like, it's one of those that feels like it shows me the whole movie and I don't care. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to watch this
Yeah.
a million times.
Probably more than once the day it releases.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love me a good shark movie.
It's fucking shark just murdering
Shark
Paris.
under Paris.
Yeah. I don't know,
Sacre
man.
bleu.
From the director of Mayhem, whatever that was.
Although, why the fuck isn't the shark in Venice?
Right.
That's where it should be.
That's where you should have a shark.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd
This
be a
is
real
the director
problem.
of Hitman, 2007's Hitman.
Okay.
Does that make you feel better or worse? I want to.
I don't remember
so excited.
any
Lateral
films
move.
from 2007. and I think I prefer to keep it that way because I don't know, but I don't know. I don't remember.
I mean, have we watched Hitman with Timothy Olyphant?
We have, and if you're
wow.
asking me if I think that guy can make a shark movie, the answer is probably.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly he has.
Yeah. Oh, he definitely
Yeah.
has. This is coming this summer. I mean, in terms of like shark movies, this stands out to me, right? It's
Yeah.
not like there's a million people
It's
on
not that
raft
over the
shark
top.
It's
movies.
not about
Yeah.
the shark. That's the important thing. It's like it's the reason we love the most recent Godzilla is because they did the obvious thing of not making it about the monster and not adding fucking Godzilla lore. We
Oh,
don't
you mean
care.
the
Godzilla
minus one?
-1.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we don't care. No, it's not about the shark. It was never about the shark. Jaws wasn't
never-
about the shark.
It's kind of about the shark.
It's kind of about the shark, but why we're not actually invested in this because of the shark. Does that
You
make
mean the
sense?
characters.
It doesn't really matter to us if it's a megalodon or not.
That makes some sense. I mean, I'm not invested in the characters in this trailer, though. Like, I'm here for the shark.
But I could be. It's more that the shark is a backdrop, and the shark is an exciting backdrop and a cool backdrop, and I don't necessarily care about these people, but I want to care enough to watch them die.
Right.
Alright.
It's. I think as you're saying, it strikes me more like a Towering Inferno type sitch. Like
Yeah.
Okay.
more like a disaster movie type situation, and the
Yeah.
disaster is a shark.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like they get trapped in like the sewer. There's
yeah.
like,
And if
I don't
it's
know.
more like a slasher, to me that's still kind of in a similar vein because it is still a character story or the story of a city. Does that make sense?
I want it to be the story of a shark, personally.
This is the story of a shark.
Yeah, it looks like they got a lot of really cool set pieces. I don't know, the shark looks scary in it too.
Yeah,
like it looks like they're
genuinely
going for it.
liked that last shot of the trailer because you think it's going to do some kind of like super fast like attack
Yeah.
thing, but it's just the shark kind of slowly floating up to this character, and
guess-
that's it. It's just looking at it.
I guess I don't care how big or CG it is. I want you to build tension. That's the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
This
It
film
doesn't-
seems like it's tension building.
There's also it's this weird bit in between too, because like all these movies, they kind of hinge on you have to be trapped with the shark, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like this is why Jaws was the perfect shark movie, because the first half is this shark is killing people on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Second half is let's go out, find the shark. Oh no, we're trapped with the shark.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if it's split by halves.
It is. It's almost exactly in half.
Okay. It feels like too many movies pick one or the other, and they usually pick the latter now. What I mean is, like, we watched that Colmini shark movie.
We sure did.
Where in the plane.
Sure
The
did.
problem with that movie is they have nothing to do, right? It's like 80 minutes, and it's like we're really just like running out the clock
Sitting in a
of this
plane,
movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like when people are trapped with a shark, the problem with that premise is that like
Yeah, you can't
There's
start
not-
with humans out of their domain.
right, and well, it's also like there's just nothing really to do.
Yeah.
Like it's like, well, if they leave, if they get away, then the movie's over. So it has to be just a series of attempts to get away that never work. So
Yeah.
like, and so like this, that's all to say that this isn't that. It's like it's more active. It's like we're running around, we're trying to get the shark. Like
Yeah.
I think shark
It's
movies
an
work
entire
really
city
well.
in peril. We're just discovering this. Now we have to convince everyone that this is what's happening. Now we have to save the swimmers. Yeah.
Right. It works really well when the main character is invested in following and pursuing the shark as opposed to trying to get away from the shark. Unless you make Deep Blue Sea and you make a big enough environment for people to get have to
Yeah,
get
I was
away.
going to say
Yeah.
the most recent 37 or 47 meters down is like that, where it's the premise is they're stuck in a system of underwater caves and it's a blind shark that's chasing them.
That's cool.
It's
Yeah.
cool.
See,
yeah.
like
That is.
you give them
Those are some interesting stakes.
give them a big enough maze to work through, you know. But it's just stick them on a raft, you know. Like there's very few. I think The Shallows is the only movie that successfully did that for me, and even that movie is still like, by the end you're like, all right, let's get it over with now, you know. But like, that movie is just a lot of fun, but it's hard. It's making a shark movie's hard. It's hard to do.
Clearly, there's been many
Yeah.
attempts, few successes.
Few successes, but and this will be one of them. Attempts, I mean.
No doubt. No,
Yeah.
assuredly be one of the successes. I mean,
I
it's a
think
shark
so.
under Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should give it a little beret. They should just
It
fucking-
should be
I
dressed
do-
as a mime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do love the idea of snooty Parisians just treating the shark like a tourist. Just speaking
Oh,
to
yeah.
it in shark like it'll understand. No, stop. Stop this. No,
it better eat a mime at least.
yeah.
I want it to only eat mimes. I want it to just be.
And then none of them can scream. They're all just like,
Yeah. Yeah. They do like jazz hands.
yeah. It's like Quint's death scene in Jaws, but it's just the mime doing jazz hands in the
Oh my
shark's mouth.
god. Why
A mime eating shark.
have we not set more of these around theater kids?
Shark movies?
Well, specifically slashers.
Oh. I mean, now I want a shark movie where he eats theater kids for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Me too.
You're fucking
So badly.
Theater shark.
theater shark. Should we thank some more producers?
We should, probably.
All right. Big ol' thank you to David Knife
Knife
Boot
Boot.
Henson. Thank you. Thank you to Deborah's Awesome Barbara's Great and Cancer Can Go to Hell. Thank
Thank
you. Thank you to Dracula, the bus driving vampire.
Thank you.
Thank you to Driftless, God Emperor of Hype.
Thank you.
Driftless, God Emperor of Hype. Thanks you for watching Lair of the White Worm.
You're
that
welcome.
comma trips me up. Thank you. Thank you to Ed Nug.
Thank you.
Thank you to Exploding Runes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Funky G. Mostly comes out at night. Mostly.
Thank you.
Thank you to Heathcliff's Helping Handfuls.
Thanks.
Thank you to Highlander. Likes the way Tom says pretty sweet. Thank
Sweet.
you. Thank you to Ombre.
Thank you.
Thank you to ImpossibleWorlds.net. Issue 3 is out now. Gorge yourself on our fiction. Gorge.
George. All right, let me swoop in
George.
here. Thank you to Jay the Crow Baron says, build a guillotine in rich people's yard,
Thank
2024.
you. Thank you.
Thank you to Chris Shanovich.
Thank you.
Thank you to Lieutenant Frank Drebin, Police Squad.
Thank you.
Thank you to Look Mime on a podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mackenzie Fuck Shuffling with Willem Dafoe's confusingly large dick. Chill.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mercurial Oz.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mike the Helldiver.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mongolian Throat Skanking.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mr. Tell Your Wife how many Patreon subscriptions you have before you agree to buy a house.
Thank you.
Thank you to musical guest Henry Garfield.
Thanks. Oh, that's it.
That's it.
So they're
it.
making a new Blair Witch film. Blumhouse is.
They sure are.
This,
It. I mean, that
Here's the
last
thing
one
about-
wasn't great. I don't know.
here's the thing about Blair Witch, right? I mean, people already know. No, everybody knows what I'm about to say, which is that the reason it worked is because people hadn't seen it before, thought it might have been true.
Yeah.
That's
It-
really kind of the juice that it had. Yeah.
Yeah, and like the thing about what's interesting to me about found footage is that we gave up on that immediately, right? Like there's no found footage found footage still like they go through the motions, but no one watches the found footage going like, "Ooh, I think this is true."
Yeah.
We all
yeah.
know.
No, it's more about using the medium as a way to make the story interesting.
Yep. It's also about making a movie on the cheap.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
there's
for
so
sure.
many there's a lot of found footage movies that are like, why is this found footage? No reason. We just like remember the Pyramid, Tom? Remember that found footage movie that cut,
do
cut
remember the
away to
Pyramid.
space? It did
To a satellite in
cutaway.
space. It also
was
was.
no
It kept
reason.
doing. It kept doing reverse shots too.
Yes.
It's like who's holding
It-
this camera?
Right. And it's that thing. It's just a way to cheaply make stuff. It's that's all it is. And like sometimes it doesn't matter. Like The Office. It's like wasn't The Office supposed to be like a workplace
but
documentary?
Who cares?
Who cares? And so like I get it. We want to make cheap stuff, but that's all to say that if you're going to make a new Blair Witch, you need to make something like Deadstream. And what
Figure
I mean
out
by
how the
that is
medium works for you. Yeah.
and modernize it in
Yes.
a unique way. Do something new with found footage because Blair Witch was that milestone. So it's like if you're going to make another, it's kind of like making a new Avatar where it's like that better have really good CGI, right?
Yeah.
That's just my thought on it because otherwise it's just like, well, we've made 1 million of these.
Yeah.
now.
It feels like remaking The Sixth Sense. Why would you do that? That was a specifically 90s moment we all had, and now we've had it, and we can never have it again.
Right, and a lot of people have done it already, right? Like that twist. And it's kind of the same where it's like, if it's just people in the woods, lost, like that was the thing, that remake or that...
The 2016 one.
The 2016, I liked that one for what it was. It just felt like it was useless, right?
Yeah, it just ultimately wasn't very good. It had some good ideas in it. Introducing the drone camera was a cool idea, but it didn't really do anything with that. Cool. The time travel, the time looping stuff at the end was cool, but like overall it just really...
Yeah, it was like me. Again, what's the point of it? You know, what's the fucking point of it?
Right, and we'd already seen the time looping stuff a little bit in the
and if
earlier
it
one.
is a major, like even a small studio film, it's still a major studio film. Like, why are you making it like this? You need a reason now because you do have a budget.
Yeah, there's a reason why when the original creators were, I'm guessing, very heavily compelled to make a sequel. They made Book of Shadows, an absolute nightmare of a movie that I kind of love.
It's incredible.
It's kind of Gremlins 2 to me. It's one of those where I think they were like, why would you want us to make a sequel? Like, that's a dumb thing to do, so let's just make this ridiculous other film.
Yeah, it's quasi-meta weirdness. Anyway, Blair Witch has a weird history.
It does. No, it really was a Gremlins 2, Book of Shadows, but... this is part of apparently Blumhouse. It sounds like they have a lot of Lionsgate horror now, like those properties. And so this Bloody Disgusting article says that they're going to do a bunch of other like Lionsgate remakes or revivals. And so I couldn't help but to think about like what Lionsgate's films are they going to fucking bring back? You know, like...
Wrong turn, but they already did that. American Psycho? I don't know.
Frailty 2. I want Frailty 2.
Frailty 2?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a funny era to be like, because we're going to start picking at those 2000 horrors.
Yeah.
And it's like, oof, those are not going to be fun.
Those are not good horror movies.
Actually, sorry, I take this back. Because they're bad horror movies, we might as well do them again, right?
Might as well remake them, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Might
as well try it again.
Yeah. Yeah, one that's not like a major twist thing, like Blair Witch. Yeah.
Yeah, do Darkness Falls again. I don't give a shit. You know?
I'm not attached to it, yeah.
Yeah. Might as well.
Let's move on.
All right. Megalopolis. The news from this is that no one wants it.
Francis Ford Coppola's long in development, epic, dystopic sci-fi movie.
It's like $100 million movie filled with celebrities, made by Francis Ford Coppola,
that he
and
financed personally.
That he
was his own money.
Personally, and it really shows like what a terrible state the corporate executive world is, where they watched the movie and they said it's too weird, we don't want it. Like they're all like, we don't know how to sell it, and it's like, how about the fact that Coppola made it? Like, how about the fact that Coppola hasn't made a huge film in so long? Like, what the fuck is going on here? It's ridiculous.
Right.
Like, surely you can sell a Coppola film?
Yeah. And it's
what is your job?
Yeah.
They wanted to take, nobody wants to, because apparently according to this article, Coppola was looking for like 80 to 100 million in distribution costs for stuff for the film. And like ad buys and stuff. Which is like, he spent his own money to make the film. It's full of like very famous people.
What more do you want?
It's got a very famous person's name. Like, he already made it. You guys didn't have to even pony up the budget. It's just the ads and distribution costs, which is still like 100 million, but like that's
he's a fucking
quarter of what they spent on that damn Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah, he's serving it to them.
Yeah,
he's like,
got
I
it.
made
It's
the movie.
Finished.
It's got D.B. Sweeney in it. What more do you want?
I mean, but yeah, it has people like Adam Driver in it. Like, it has
it has
stars.
Dustin Hoffman in it.
Yeah.
And D.B. Sweeney.
Primarily D.B. Sweeney.
James Remar's in there. But it's just, it really shows to how shitty it's gotten, right? Like, I have this, like, picture of, like, it's like the Hammond son, like, the executive, like, from Jurassic Park. You know what I mean? Where it's like probably people who are like, I don't even know who Coppola is. Like, I'm imagining these young shitty executives just being like, whatever, old man. Like,
I picture old people who are predicting what they think young people will think.
I can
It's
see
a
that
toss
too.
up. It's a toss up. It could be anyone because
Bit of column A, bit
they
of column
don't
B.
care about movies.
It's just weird because you look at Coppola.
That's
and
the
it's
one
like,
passion that unites them is they don't give a
Yeah.
fuck about art or making
Yeah.
movies.
because you'd think he'd be like, you know how much fucking money I've made you, you know, like
Well, yeah, because at the very least, you would think some studio out there would be like, look, even if we don't recoup the 80 to 100 million, like, we've got lots and
Yeah.
lots of money. Like, this film deserves to exist. Like, should
Yeah,
you? Like,
as
they,
much as
they used to
as
put out
much
movies just because
as
it
we
was,
can kind of
yeah,
rail on auteur worship. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
You're fine.
Yeah. This is made.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
but
already
you're
made.
right. Yeah,
It's just,
and then
there's some things you do just for the good of the brand.
Right.
That used to be a discussion, like just for the good of the studio, or just because you believe in a project and want it to exist. It's like none
Right.
of those are considerations. It's
That
just
used to
like,
be a thing.
well, this isn't going to be a big hit, so it doesn't justify 100. There's no Transformers in it. How are we going to make 100 million back? I
Right.
don't know,
That
man.
used to be-
Maybe you shouldn't have gotten into movies to make money.
right. That used to be the legacy of people like Robert Evans. Before he had a hit podcast, he was the producer of The
The
Godfather.
Godfather, right?
And like his whole deal was sort of that, where he like the money people. He was like, "Fuck you, we're making this." You know, it was a lot of that stuff, where it's like it's more about like yeah, whatever happened to that? You know, of
Yeah.
like we're making a classic.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to like let's make a fucking classic? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and it's obviously I understand they can't like lose money on every movie they put out or else they'll be out of business, but it's like surely all that like what's the point of making nothing but tent poles if not to like finance movie projects like this?
Yeah, I think so. We'll couple this with the fact that apparently David Lynch is shopping around a family cartoon, and it's like Netflix was like, no thanks, and it's like you said no to David Lynch's family cartoon. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like you say yes to everything else.
Hasn't directed a feature in 20 years.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be a feature, an animated feature.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
and
not a
it's just
TV
like,
series.
Okay, and it's like, fuck, man. Like, what is going on? I will say, the thing about auteur filmmakers, right, is they were nightmares. Coppola, when you think
Famous
about
nightmare.
Apocalypse, yeah, you think about Apocalypse Now from like the studio's perspective of like, I'm sorry, you're doing acid in the jungle. We
Yeah.
gave you a lot of money, so like, I think you guys are right that it's probably old executives because there's probably some bitterness, right, where they're like, you know what, your days are over. We don't have to answer to you anymore. Like, there's probably that feeling
But
of like,
even if you're cynical and just and that way, like this is made for you. I don't. There's a risk averseness that it feels like is looming over this entire town that is scary.
Yeah.
you know what's a
Sucks.
terrifyingly relevant movie now?
Wall Street?
Simone. No, Simone with Al
Sim
Pacino.
One.
Sim 1, not a good movie, but there's a sequence in Simone where it starts with Al Pacino as a famous director, and he's dealing with Winona Ryder, and she's not playing herself, but she's playing a nightmare actress. And the idea is like she's really good, but she's a nightmare, or everybody loves her. So he creates a fake CGI artificial intelligence actress. That's the plot of the stupid movie Simone, which I can't stress enough is not a good movie. But there's a scene later where after Simone becomes such a hit because he gets to control her, right? Where Winona Ryder shows back up and she's been really humbled and she's like, I've been taking a lot of acting lessons. I want a part in this thing. And she does like an amazing audition and Al Pacino just goes like, that was great. I think I'll have Simone do that. Like he just like walks away. He doesn't need her basically. And he just saw her performance and goes like, oh, I'll program Simone to do that thing with her eyes. That's what it feels like to me. Where it's like Coppola and Arturs were like ruling the world for a while, and the executives were very bitter about that because they couldn't control them, and now they don't need them. And it's like now Coppola has to like go to the studios like, I paid for the film myself, and they're just like, that's cute. We're not
I'm
gonna-
sure
Yeah,
that's part of it. I'm sure
we
it's
can-
also private equity that only
Yeah.
cares about numbers go up.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, oh yeah, we could buy this. We could spend $100 million on this fucking Coppola film, or we could get a first-time director and bully him into making Space Jam 3. You know, like, and it's like that'll make us more money. So it's like, who gives a shit about him anymore? And it's a bummer because the people
Paramount just put out that series, The Offer, about the fucking making of The Godfather.
Right. And the reason why they can do this is because the audiences don't care anymore, right? Like, nobody's demanding Coppola's film. The kids aren't out there, which is funny because I bet if they did like a Dune release for this, it would probably do great.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's good that we don't worship individuals like that. But it's awful that we are forced to worship corporations like that.
Yeah.
It's worse. It's worse.
Yeah, and I just think they're not giving the kids the chance. I don't think it's because kids are dumb or you look at how they reacted to Dune. It's like they'd probably fucking love this movie. Put it out there.
Yeah, no, they are dying for anything unique.
Yeah. And maybe it sucks. It's still like Coppola. It's still Coppola
there's a lot
making
more
a vision.
tolerance for weird, winding stories. And how popular anime has gotten. Game of Thrones was the biggest thing in the world. It's some of this antiquated thinking where it's like, well, this just won't connect. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure it won't connect?
It seems like you're still remaking Willy Wonka, so I don't know what you think Gen Z likes or even millennials, but it's not that.
That movie did well, actually.
Did it?
Yeah, the Wonka movie did pretty well.
I'm sure it did well because there are no options for kids, so their ideas are very skewed. This is why they belittle animation every time they give out that award at the Oscars. They make the pool so bad. Oh my God, yeah. I'm sorry. I saw a lot of clients today.
For?
I'm real mad. Mad.
Let's move on.
Yeah,
well, I just want to say that I think the studio's rejecting this stuff. You could draw a straight line between this and people seeing one of the most basic shots in Joker and going this is amazing.
That's what I'm saying.
I can't believe it. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. There's a lack of exposure. They have created a terrible playing field for themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. It's just this is why people I don't know.
Well, this is the only thing that works. Why? Because it's the only thing we've done for 15 years.
Yeah, and people will occasionally turn out for that, but they're not going to remember it. They're not going to come back for the sequel that you're inevitably going to make. Over time, this isn't an effective strategy.
It also means people are ripe for the picking, meaning that, we've made a lot of artless blockbusters, so, the moment you give them a little bit of art in a blockbuster, people are like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
That's why Dune is so good. People love it because it's this is, a movie with artistic intent, you know?
Yeah. People are so desperate for that.
Yeah. Should we move on? Should we thank some more producers?
We should.
All right.
Producers.
Big thank you to No One Can Hear You Scream and Space McNulty. Thank you. Thank you to Norm from Cheers.
Norm.
Thank you to Pete Forpagel.
Thank you.
Thank you to Numenal, Ultramicroscopic Silicol, Volcanoconiosis, Disestablishmentarianism Jones.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to pre-order Jason Pargin's new book so he can keep making big feats.
Thank
you. Thank you to Psychic Bigfoot.
The worst kind of Bigfoot.
Yeah, it's true. He knows your fears. Thank you to Rev MD.
Thank you.
Thank you to Ricky Cilantro.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Rosemary's Baby from Eraserhead.
Thank you.
Thank you to Screaming Horse Pyramid.
Thank you.
Thank you to Sorry Cop, world's most laughable centrist.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Steven.
Thanks.
Thank you to the conveniently placed self-destruct button on the top of every baby's head.
Thanks, pal. All right, let me jump in here. Thank you to the Ghost Dave Thomas.
Thank you.
Thank you to the Midnight Patron with patrons at midnight.
Thank you.
Thank you to the Oatmeal Savage.
Thank you.
Thank you to the To Be Terror Bunny says the strikes may be over, but egg David Zaslav for fun and profit.
Thank you.
Thank you to these 7 Bs.
Thank you.
Thank you to Tiger Drawers Pratt Thompson. Raindrops keep falling on my head.
Thank you.
Thank you to Tip Drizzle.
Thank you.
Thank you to Tux.
Thank you.
Thank you to Vincent.
Thanks.
Thank you to Why Don't You Take a Flying Fuck at the Moon.
Thanks.
Thank you to Yorgos from the island of Crete.
Sure.
And thanks to your mom.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mom.
Thank you.
I'm glad to know that you finally support me. I'll call you after this.
Aww.
I
we
won't.
bring people together.
Yeah, that's what we do here.
I'm afraid of her.
Dave, we've come to the end of things here.
What?
The last sands in the hourglass are filtering out.
Yep.
Sun's dipping sleepily below the horizon.
Yep.
So
Rue
I need
is
to
almost
ask you,
knocking over the cat tree with his big bulbous body.
Yep.
his tumor-like body.
Yep.
It really is like 2 bowling balls in a sack. That's what Dave said last night, and it's fuck. It's exactly what I'm seeing here. That the tree is almost on the ground.
Yep.
Dave, do you have a movie that deserves more hype?
I have 2.
Hell yes.
2 movies that
I
do
said
in fact
what?
deserve. Nope.
No, it's fine.
Nope. All right,
The
this
more
first
hype,
one's
the
coming.
merrier.
Yeah. Well, one is a little farther off than the other. The first one's coming out May 3rd on VOD, but it's called New Life. Now, I went on a little journey with this, which is that, like, watching this trailer, I didn't think much of it, at least when it started. It felt a little, like, cheesy to me. It's getting nothing but great reviews. And when you watch the movie or keep watching the trailer, it sort of starts unfolding. It's about a woman who's on the run. She's going to Canada. She's being hunted down. She has clearly done some sort of murder. And this other woman is chasing after her, like the fugitive. And it's this older woman chasing after her. And then there is some implication, though, that the organization she works for is not just like the FBI. And in fact, she starts like putting on a hazmat suit, and then it starts getting really gnarly. And you get the impression that something's, she's not just a fugitive. There's something going on with her. Something going on. It's called New Life. I assume because she's in search of a new life, but I assume there's like other.
I think she might be an alien.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Like she is carrying a new life, or she is a new life form, something like that.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is that most of the reviews are talking about this as an amazing character piece. Like between these 2 women, like this one woman who, I guess the woman who's chasing her has a disease herself. And like there's like, apparently it's just like this really meditative character piece that's very emotional that then ends in a really gnarly way, according to the reviews. And so like it's surprisingly like touching or character driven at least. So what'd you guys think of this?
Like I'm same journey that you went on. Like the trailer kind of seemed like, another like former spy on the run type movie. Like we've seen a few of these, but then when the lady shows up and puts on a hazmat suit, it's like, what? So reading all the write-ups that you had included in the notes, keying me into the plot, like, I'm pretty interested in this movie.
Yeah, I need to know what more.
Yeah, it's one of those trailers where I'm glad I kept watching because I could have easily shut it off 30 seconds in.
Yeah, if you hadn't told me that this was a movie that deserved more hype, I probably would have turned off the trailer.
Yeah, and
before
then
it got to the interesting part. Yeah.
Yeah, I have nothing else to say about New Life other than, I don't know. Everybody check out the trailer and watch the whole thing because it looks legit. I don't know who made it. I think it might be a first-time director, I think.
Somebody named John Rossman.
Yeah, it's a Canadian director, I believe. A lot of Canadian stuff. But, besides, it's good. It looks good. The second one is called Things Will Be Different. And we only have a clip, and the clip's not very compelling. But it is directed by the editor for Benson and Moorhead, who are 2 directors who made Spring. They made
The Endless.
They made Something in the Dirt.
Synchronic, I think is the other.
Synchronic, yeah. They're like very good cult following. Amazing directors. I love their work. And editors, so there's this thing about editors is that they tend to be the people who spend the most time with directors, and which is why like David Fincher was an editor. Like most directors start as editor, or not most, but a lot of them do. And so this is from their editor, so that alone makes me go like, well, I want to see. And it's very much from the reviews in the same vein as one of their movies.
Yeah,
which is
the clip you included felt like one of theirs.
Yeah, and they love this idea of big sci-fi ideas done on a budget. And in this case, it's about a magic house. And the house, when you set the clocks send you through time, and it's about a brother and sister bank robbers who use this house as a safe house, basically, and they go back in time because they've robbed like a bank, and so it's like, yeah, they can't catch me in the past. Now I'm in like the fucking 80s or whatever, and they have to be there for like 2 weeks, and when they go back, of course, things go wrong. The portal has been sabotaged. They have to like go find this other guy to like figure it out. And it becomes this whole fucking thing. That's all we know. That's all I care to know, honestly. What'd you guys think of this?
I thought it was cool.
You pro?
Yeah.
You pro it?
I'm pro this. I like the scene as them setting these two grandfather clocks kind of frantically in this intricate way. So it was. I thought it was a little. You said it wasn't that compelling, but I disagree. I was like, what?
I had
what are they doing?
flashbacks to trying to open my locker before class.
Oh yeah, because they're doing it like a combination.
Yeah,
They're
to
doing
spin
the,
it
like, back and
around.
forth.
It's this complicated series. So yeah, I was sort of just all I had known is that you said it was from Benson and Moorhead's editor, and this is the clip that was included. So I just watching that clip without any of the description you just gave, I was on board.
Right, because the clip, you're like, the fuck are they doing?
Yeah, they're
and
up
then
to
they get
something.
in a closet, and then it ends, and you're like, huh? They changed the clocks, and I love the idea of a time traveling house.
Yeah.
Like that's a fun idea, and then I mean, it seems simple, or it seems like basic, but it's like, yeah, how do you do the time travel? I don't know, make them change the clocks, and it's like, yeah, I guess if you were designing a magic time traveling house, that's how you would control it.
It would certainly be a thematic way to do it.
Yeah, but also a logical one, right? Like either that or the stove clock, I guess. But it's like, yeah, how do we make this magic house go to the past? I don't know, change the fucking clocks. Works. Yeah. But yeah, I'm super curious about this. It's a lot of hats on hats in a good way, you know, where it's like a weirdness to me. Where it's like it's a heist movie, but a time travel movie, and then like a portal. There's like dimensions. I don't know. It sounds really weird.
It sounds weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm into it. I like weird.
Yeah.
I like weird.
Things will be different. And the New Life. Two trailers. Look them up. If you like, the theme is weird indie sci-fi. If people didn't figure that out. So if you like it, look them up. That's it.
Check it out.
Yeah. We're done here.
Yeah, with that is
We
a
can walk
sewed. We've done it.
Woo!
Yeah. My bladder has been full for however long we've been doing this. 2
Ooh.
hours.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
I am
Thank you. You want
sorry
to
for
really,
everything.
real slowly.
Yeah.
What? Really slowly explain where people can reach you.
Can I keep apologizing for 10 more minutes?
Only if you do it very slowly.
Yeah.
You can find me on all my socials are at Hana Michels. That's HANAMICHELS. Don't ask me, ask my parents. I don't know why.
Well, how do we get a hold of your parents? To dox your parents. Dox your parents.
I want to, but that's been done already.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, it's been done. If I were
Alright.
the one to do it, I feel like it would be fun and light.
You probably shouldn't dox your parents.
I mean, they deserve it. I'm not saying they don't deserve it, to be clear. To be
Okay.
clear.
So you're asking people to dox your parents.
What you do is on you. That's what I'll say.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks for
I'm gonna
having
plug
me.
Yeah, anytime. Dave, you do our plugs real quick.
Patreon.com/GamefullyUnemployed. GAMEFULOY unemployed. We watch movies with our patrons every Friday night. You could jump on there, watch movies with us. It's a lot of fun. We have exclusive podcasts like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Star Trek Next Futurama, Spiel Boys. Check all of them out. Why don't you?
Yeah, we also have a store. Head over to GamefullyUnemployed.com where you can find a link to our Teespring store. We have all kinds of cool original artwork and designs you can get on t-shirts, mugs, stickers, posters, all sorts of things. So check that out.
Check it out.
Slap your little time-traveling peepers onto that.
Yeah.
You're heisting little peepers.
Heist
Someone
peepers.
does always appreciate when I wear one of y'all's t-shirts out.
Oh, yeah. They're great t-shirts.
Pretty excellent.
Yeah.
Say goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye. Bye,
I'm
t-shirt.
sorry again.
R.I.P. OJ.
Our music is produced by Chris Corlew. Find him on Twitter at @thecorlew or go to shipwrecksailor.bandcamp.com. Our channel artwork is by Michael Vincent Bramley. For more of his work, go to mvbramley.art. Episode artwork is by Justin Brown. Available on Twitter as @JustinTBrown or at artnessbyjustinbrown.com. And finally, additional artwork by Starlene Hodge. You can find her work at starlenearts.com or Twitter @StarleneX. Goodbye now.